great to work with family, but you've got to divide up the business really clearly and be really disciplined about it.
Don't try and think of all the things you need to do. Try and think of the big things you need to avoid. That will get you much further.
High-fiving in December thinking, let's go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
To beginning of January getting some invoices and going, oh my God, we've got no cash.
We're trying to build a brand that can be around in 30 years, 50 years.
Really?
Yeah.
We want to transform people's homes.
Hi everybody and welcome to FEBE Founder Stories. I'm John Maffioli and this is the big one. This is the numero uno. This is the top fastest growing founder-led company in the UK of the 2024 Growth 100. It's Jack and Charlie from Purdy and Figg. Guys, great to see you. That's a lovely smile there, Charlie.
Thank you,
Looks
John.
like you're enjoying it already. This is wonderful. But anyway, guys, it's so good to have you here. Congratulations on being the fast. I mean, your growth, when you submitted your figures, it was unbelievable. Basically, 500,000 to just under 19 million, and therefore your CAGR, I think, is the highest CAGR we've ever had. So the question I always ask anybody is it a surprise, the growth that you've had and the journey that you're going on, or was it always written in the stars and it's kind of like this is just going according to what the plan always was? What's the answer to that?
It's a massive surprise.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Mainly your board tells you that it's impossible what you're forecasting, and you need to be a lot more sensible and realistic. And then as you get month on month into the year, and you're constantly pushing and pushing and pushing, and the numbers keep going up and up and up, I suppose it becomes more real. But then you look back and you think, wow, did I expect that over 2 years? No, definitely not.
Unreal. Same with you?
Yeah. To be honest, the goal from the beginning was if we can build a £10 million company, I was going to be happy.
That's a big tick already then, Jack.
So yeah, we've doubled that and on we go.
So let's just get to Purdy and Figg then. We've got obviously our products here. So you would describe yourself as this is a home brand, right? In your own words, tell me about the product. Now, what was even more exciting about having you guys in the list was we were actually a customer before, because we were, I think it was a mutual friend, Ollie, that said, you've got to make sure, well, now I'm a mutual friend, but it said, you've got to speak to these guys because their growth is incredible. Meanwhile, when he said the name, I'm thinking, well, we've got this lovely bright blue cloth in our kitchen that has got the beautiful logo on it. I've heard of Purdy and Figg, and lo and behold, that's how this started. So we're fans, we're customers. Tell us about the product.
The product is a multi-surface, functional first, a multi-surface cleaning spray.
Let's break that down then, multi-surface.
Okay.
So any service, anywhere in the house, okay.
We like to think, and our customers agree with us, that it is literally any surface. So I've cleaned canvas, I've cleaned floors, glass,
really?
Wood, marble, bathrooms, everything. And that was a big part of developing the product, was to save people space, time and money by providing one product that could do everything. So it's a big part of the product. So that's the functional side, it's a multi-surface cleaner.
And is that hard to do, Charlie, to achieve that?
Yes, it is. Yeah. There's quite a lot of chemistry that goes into that. Because it's not only just a cleaner that you might buy in the supermarket from other brands, it's a concentrate. So you add it to water at home with tap water, and you dilute the concentrate to make up your multi-surface cleaner. So there's two. So
you tip these in.
You tip that in.
With water.
Tip that into a bottle, or pour the water in first, and then tip that into the water. Give it a shake, and you've made up your multi-surface cleaner. So there's two levels of chemistry going on. You've got your concentrate chemistry, and then you've got your tap water dilute chemistry.
The business was run in 2020, is that correct?
Incorporated in 2020.
Incorporated in 2020. So before that then, there was the kind of the magic was creating the product with Charlotte and Purdy, right? And then 2020 is when you basically put the rocket fuel behind the brand, and we'll get into that. Yeah.
Purdy and Charlotte started experimenting back in 2016 with natural cleaning products, making their own at home. And they were getting very interested in that topic, doing a lot of research at the British Library about the history of cleaning products, why we have 15 different products for all the different surfaces in the home, and kind of found out it was a marketing ploy, fundamentally, to increase basket size in the supermarket.
Really?
And they started to understand the chemistry and realise it wasn't needed. And as they learnt more about it and they were telling friends about it, their friends started to ask them to run kind of workshops to teach their friends of friends about what they were learning. And these workshops just picked up in steam.
So people were really digging this. They were really getting into it and really
there was
enjoying
just
what
this
they were learning.
this like early energy about the philosophy they were interested in. But something really interesting started happening, which is people were making the products at the workshops, taking it home, but then they were driving maybe an hour each way to come back to our mum's house to pick up more of these homemade cleaning products. And Charlie and I we were kind of watching from afar, but I guess the entrepreneurial side of us just saw a bit of an opportunity in that kind of early interest.
That was the spark, seeing
felt
people
like,
coming in and the energy that was being created, and just you seeing that something really was taking off.
Yeah, it felt like
before your eyes.
Felt like product market fit, basically,
Yeah.
which is something you want to look for.
And the thing that Charlotte, my wife, absolutely loves about this is having two younger lads. She's very worried about chemicals in the house and that sort of stuff, which is the reason why. Charlotte does extensive research. Why she basically wanted to choose your brand. Talk us about that then. So in terms of kind of I don't know what the word is, safety, the kindness of the ingredients that you use.
More and more people are talking about this, which is really important. The number of toxic chemicals, not just in our food, but in our cleaning products, in our paint, in our carpets, and everything really that in the home, as we transition from a petrochemical supply chain to a more sustainable supply chain. And the stuff's really bad for you and really bad for your system. We all know friends with allergies, with skin conditions, with pregnancy problems. It's really, really a real problem. And there's more data around it now, more academics looking into this stuff. What we've done is we formulated a product that is, from a non-petrochemically derived set of chemicals, which makes life harder. It means you're more restricted with your options of what surfactants you can use, what particularly preservatives you can use. And then for us, a big part of it, because we know about the problems in the industry, is the scent. Scent in traditional cleaning products is really toxic stuff.
So I'm quite OCD, so I'm actually our resident cleaner. So I love the fact that when I'm using your products, the smell is amazing. It's amazing, isn't it?
The reason for that is because we use pure essential oils. That's the only way we scent it.
That's how you've achieved it.
Yeah, which is firstly chemically very hard to balance the product, and but also they're very expensive. And because we get pure essential oils, we grow them. We have a partner in Greece, a family-run business that grows them, and so we don't skimp on it.
There's quite a lot that goes into thinking about oils, to know where to get the best oils from and what you should bring together, what's safe, what's sustainable. We've got, you have to build a team that actually understands that world.
Yeah. Did you guys, when you were at school or uni, did you ever think you'd basically become the cleaning kings? I mean, that's what you're quickly becoming. Was there always this interest? Or did it start literally from, as you say, that your mum doing the amazing things that she was doing, and you could see the energy right between right in front of your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I didn't think I'd be passionate about cleaning products when I was a teenager. But I think passion comes from working hard at something, gaining competence in it, and you're having success with it. Your passion follows from those things.
Yeah.
I always, if you find any great people in niche professions, they're very passionate because they've had a career in it, dedicating their lives to it, and had success in it. And I think that passion follows from that.
So in terms of how you've rocket fueled this brand, I suspect you've got very clear differentiation in terms of what you both take ownership for. It'd be really good to understand the dynamic of, I guess, what you do, Charlie, what you do, Jack, and obviously with Charlotte and your mum.
We got some great advice from Jack's father-in-law, who had a very successful business for about 30 years. And he said, guys, it's great to work with family, but you've got to divide up the business really clearly and be really disciplined about it. And that was one of his big pieces of advice.
So that really stuck in your head, did it?
Yeah, it was very, very wise, sound advice. So we did that. At that point, it was kind of what we were already thinking about and doing. We kind of carved it up on that basis at the time, which is means it's very natural, and we kind of gravitate to what we're probably both best at. For me, that was working very closely with Purdy and Charlotte, developing the products So setting up the factory and getting the stuff made to the highest quality was really what we did. That's in Hemel Hempstead.
That's in Hemel, okay.
Yeah, and then Jack.
Yeah. Well, I had a background in marketing and performance marketing, so I took over all the growth and sales and marketing related things.
So let's focus on that, because your social following is incredible. I mean, let's put this into context. You've got hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of views on your products. I don't know how much you want to share on that.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously probably not a secret sauce in that.
Yeah.
But just tell us.
I'll give. I mean, it all starts with a great product.
Okay.
So a great product will allow you to acquire customers. They stay with you. That makes acquiring them cost efficient. And also a great product creates virality. So you can pay for a customer, but that customer will tell another potential customer, and they'll come to you organically. And so I do think all great marketing starts with a great product. So a lot has to be said for that. But then
that's why you mentioned the passion at the beginning. Obviously, if you're passionate about it, that obviously helps create the product
to
be even more amazing, right?
Well, the product's been created with incredible care and quality, and that comes through. And then we've developed real expertise in creating content online and putting that content out organically and through paid channels. So we produce up to 1,000 videos a month in-house that all go out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and paid channels too. And
that is a lot of content.
It's a huge amount of content, yeah. We have 4 full-time video editors that are just editing content the whole time, and that's the engine, really.
This is great insight. That is incredible. What you're saying is just we all know content is king. It is a bit of a cliche, but you guys are really owning the content. For you, this is a great product. You love it. When we were talking outside, you've just shy of 90 million. Your intention is to double that in the next year. So, yeah, you guys are going to be a regular on the sofa for the Growth 100, it would appear, which is amazing. But that is another step up. So how are you finding the experience of growing so fast?
It's very different to what you'd imagine. When you start a business, as I said, you have this idea of £10 million in your head. You don't really know what that means in practice.
That was your milestone, wasn't it?
That was the milestone. But so you get to 20, and then we're going to be at 40 this year. And it goes from you're an entrepreneur just starting a thing and doing all the work yourself to building a team, and actually you've got a job, and your job is to be a chief executive of that team and do that really well. And the really hard thing about that transition is that there are great chief executives all around the world and country who are specialists. They've done it for 20, 30, 40 years. They really know what they're doing. And so you have to ask yourself, am I as good, or am I doing as good a job as those people? Because if you're not, you should remove yourself.
Which in itself is a really difficult thing to do if you get to that decision, which is you need to remove yourself.
Yeah, which many people do get to. And so there's a lot of self-reflection that comes with that, and a lot of personal growth you have to develop very quickly and be very intentional about that. So
the self-reflection, do you invite that in terms of feedback from people that you work with? How do you achieve that self-reflection? Because it's something that I think quite a few people don't have. That in itself is a skill, to have the ability to really kind of step back and observe yourself, right? Because that's what it is.
I think the only way to really, you can get feedback from your team, and that's really important, to have open and honest communication with everyone. But also having mentors and advisors is critical for that.
You're talking about some very experienced people that you have on the board, mentoring you. I think one of the most impressive things about people like you guys is the instinct that you have. And sometimes you just got to follow your gut. How do you get the balance right between, sometimes you're like, look, I hear what you're saying, and I know you've got loads of experience and years of dealing with this, but there's something, I've got a song coming on here, so so strong. I won't break out into it, but there's something really strong inside you that's saying, this is where I want to go with this.
I'm going to go quite voodoo on you there.
I like it, go for it, we like that.
Because it's a really good question.
Yes, I've done it.
One of the keys when you're getting a lot of advice is not to be pushed and pulled by all that advice and experience. Because you can easily go from, I think this, then someone tells you something, you go, okay, I think that. And we certainly did that in the early days.
Because people are compelling how they give you
They're
their
compelling their
opinions, yeah.
experience. One of the key things you have to learn to do is take in the advice, allow yourself to process it, and then try and find your own inner voice, and try and find what your gut and inner voice really thinks about the situation when you've got big decisions to make, or you want to take big risks. Because you're completely right. If you go totally executive and corporate, you will lose the spark, you'll lose the risk taking that founders really can bring to even slightly larger businesses like we've become. So I think that's the really great way to do it, is to take in all the advice, process it, and then find your own inner voice and path and how you want to do things, if you can.
And how about the dynamic between the both of you?
I think, well, it really works for us because to layer on that, you have to have really strong and clear principles.
Yeah.
So you have your principles plus your gut, your instinct, and thought, and you will make the right decision. Well, we have so far made correct decisions. Not all correct decisions, but the big decisions have been correct decisions.
Yeah.
And so if you have those strong principles, and if you have shared principles, we're a good team.
Hence the beautiful dynamic of a family business, right? Which I think is what's so exciting about this prospect. On the production side, Charlie, looking again at the growth, hearing here from Jack, doubling, huge, I guess, pressures being put on yourself there. How have you coped in terms of on the operational side? What have you found some of the biggest things that you've had to really learn along the way?
Well, luckily we've got to a stage where there's people who are much better at it than me.
Well, everyone says always get great people in that are better than you, right?
Exactly. Hire for people who are better than you
Yeah.
at everything, for sure. That helps you develop your own thoughts and ambitions. So it kind of comes naturally to an extent, but yeah, everyone's different. You get big characters, and you've got to be patient, mature, know when you're wrong, know when they're wrong, and yeah.
And a team of over 50 people now. I mean, the family's growing, right?
The family's growing.
Dynamics of growing a team. Have you found that? Because you were talking about the evolution from a founder to a CEO. All of a sudden now you've got a culture. I mean, how have you created the culture? What sort of things have you done to really start? You talk about principles. How are you making the principles go from a family to a bigger family?
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time on culture, and we just took the whole team
Culturing, I like that word.
We took the whole team to Mallorca last month.
Nice.
40 people to Mallorca for 4 days to celebrate the previous year, but also to try and entrench that culture that we want to see.
How brilliant.
And it was great fun, and people bonded, and and we had great workshop sessions. And what I said at that event about culture probably is the best answer, which is, as we grow and scale and the team builds, the most important thing is that everyone has a sense that the people in the team are all trying to help each other. I think politics is the biggest problem as companies grow.
Yeah.
And we talk about this thing called inversion theory, which is Charlie Munger's famous way of dealing with these problems, which is, don't try and think of all the things you need to do. Try and think of the big things you need to avoid. That will get you much further. What's really going to destroy the culture at a growing company like this? And when we thought about that question, it's people becoming self-interested, it's politics, it's an atmosphere of that kind of atmosphere that will destroy the progress and motivation of the team. So that's the big thing that we work on, and that's just the team getting to know each other, bonding, working together, and feeling like they're all helping each other, which is a big focus.
And I think a key thing, what you've just said there, which is stuck in my mind, is that is a considerable cost to take so many people abroad. To me, that shows, because you said, it was a great opportunity for so much bonding.
Yeah.
It shows to me that investing in that sort of stuff creates huge results, right? Do it, because a lot of people don't do it.
Because there's hard things. The business is really hard. There's lots of hard problems. Things go wrong, as we'll talk about. And when you're sitting in a meeting with someone and something's gone wrong, the difference in the dialogue you'll have if you know the person you're sitting with and you actually you know where they're from, you know about their family, you know about those details, that will completely change the way you have that conversation with them.
Yes.
And it will lead to a much better progress. So. It's a form of kind of heart-centered leadership, which is what I think we put forward at Purdy and Figg.
Talking about people and growth, what have been some of the kind of curveballs that you've had to deal with along the way? What have some been the big challenges of this extraordinary trajectory that you're on? That was a sigh then, Charlie. There's been a few.
it's because sometimes people say, how's the business going? And just 5 big things flash in, about 5 problems flash into your mind.
Really?
Because that's what you spend most of your time thinking about are what's going to go wrong, when could it go wrong, how big of a problem is it? And it is... Does it equate your brain quite a lot then? Yes, not to be too negative about it, but the way I think about it that's positive is if there were no problems to solve, there'd be no business.
Okay.
So you've got to enjoy solving problems. And that's where it comes down to maybe what Jack was also talking about competency and getting fulfillment from competency. If you solve the problem and you feel good about it, doesn't mean there's not going to be a bigger problem coming further down the line. Some of the problems we've had specifically in the business, we've gone bust. That was a big one. That wasn't fun.
Can we talk about that? Because
Sure.
that must have been some extraordinary learnings that you.
Yeah, we went bust. Yeah, that's full one.
That.
So what happened there? When did this?
We went bust, but we survived. We as in we had to. We'll tell the story from the beginning.
Please, yeah.
So yeah, we went bust. So the business started in 2020 as a cleaning brand, and we had the vision for the cleaning products. But you may remember something else happened in 2020.
Of course.
And we had been running workshops with Purdy and Charlotte for a couple of months before end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And I remember her very clearly. She was a very well-dressed, glamorous Thai woman. And she said, guys, you know what? I love the cleaning products, but I'd really love something to clean the table tray when I go on the aeroplane back home because it's the dirtiest part of the plane. And we said, we need an antibacterial cleaner. So we developed a hand sanitizer. So beginning of 2020, when it looked like it was coming over, you're
ahead of the curve.
We managed to get a little bit ahead of it. We sat down, we're like, hold on a second. The traditional way people start CPG companies, they'll raise some money. And we thought, well, instead of raising some money, we've got a great hand sanitizer product. Let's buy that and sell that initially. And so we started doing that, and we actually got quite sucked into it.
Did you?
Which was a big lesson.
Oh yeah.
As in you lost your focus because...
Lost our focus.
Oh my God, I mean, we ended up with like 24 hand sanitizer SKUs, and we did £1 million of sales in like 6 months. So it was explosive, and it was a big start, a very aggressive start of the business.
Which is understandable with the context of the time that we lived in then.
Yeah.
Because of the fact the phone must have been going off the hook.
Yeah.
Your product.
The product got picked up as well.
Yeah.
Like ITV loved it.
Voted it the best hand sanitizer in the country.
Really?
It was a really good product.
It's not beautiful.
Yeah, it was all the same principles that went into that product. So it was natural.
Can we still buy this?
It was we've taken it off.
Aww.
It was natural. It was smelt really good, and it was a much nicer experience. So it was all the same principles that went in to this product, but just in that.
So what happened? What caused the problems?
October, November 2020, and in e-commerce that's a big time to push products, and we decided to really go for it, and we couldn't really think about anything other than, can I get the alcohol and the oils in? How's Facebook performing? And our customers getting their product on time? Are they complaining about something? Yeah. That was all going fine. And we thought we were having the best Christmas. And then the invoices started to arrive. And then people stopped buying hand sanitizer.
Okay.
And we realized that all our calculations around repeat purchase were down about 60, 70%. Gross margin was down about 50%. And we'd stocked our balance sheet up with a whole load of stuff we couldn't sell.
£500,000 of hand sanitizer.
So from going in that December to thinking we were...
So where you thought the business was going versus reality,
we were like...
couldn't have been polar opposite.
Yeah, high-fiving in December thinking, let's go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
To beginning of January getting some invoices and going, oh my God, we've got no cash.
Yeah, we lost £500,000, shit. And by June, balance sheet was just looking terrible, and we were eking out survival. Like negative assets.
Well, you both strike me as very level-headed, relaxed, like you're calm. That's very evident. But were you absolutely inside dying? Was this like horrendous? Was this like game over for you?
It was pretty horrendous.
Looking back, it was bad. But at the time, you kind of just like...
You went into fight mode.
It's kind of fine, actually.
And this is what we love about FEBE. This is what, for us, is one of the most exciting things about what it gives us to be able to meet founders like yourselves is so many successful businesses have had curveballs, they've had hammer blows in terms of having to overcome some horrendous problems, and somehow you find a way. Would you say in your case that's exactly what it's about? You found a way, you've had to.
Yeah, I mean, in that moment, we came up with a plan. We cut all the costs. We completely removed any salaries we were taking from the business. All the 4 founders did. We cut most of our costs, staff base, in the nicest way we could. We hunkered down. We pivoted the business to counterclean, which you see here today, and we said we're going to produce these products. We're going to wind down hand sanitizer and pivot the business towards the original vision for the brand. And we spent 6 or 7 months in kind of survival mode.
It's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time, and just trying to get some money in from investors if we could, just to keep the thing alive, so we could launch Counterclean, and that's what we did, and here we are today.
Yeah, one of the important parts of that period was being honest, and being honest with ourselves, being honest with people who we needed money from, being honest with our suppliers, people who we owed money to, saying, it's going to take us 3 months to pay you, we will pay you. They really appreciated that.
Yeah.
So you're honest and you have belief in the vision for the company and the products, and that it's worth doing what you're doing. Because otherwise you would give up. But if you believe that it's worthwhile, you stick at it.
So obviously that was a big point in your own kind of journey. Big point in the history of Purdy and Figg, because all of a sudden it could have been game over. Thank goodness, as we know, it's a totally different story now. So what do you see in terms of what needs to be done? Start again. So where do you see you're talking about doubling the turnover. Where is this going to go? Are you building an empire here? What is the name of the game? Where will it stop?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to build a brand that can be around in 30 years, 50 years.
Really?
Yeah. So we're trying to build it with principles that will last, and so that means you've got to enjoy the work. Your team needs to enjoy the work. So it's not kind of flash in the pan, grow as quickly as we possibly can, and then sell it off. We're thinking much longer term than that, and about being a mainstay in the category and changing the category from a lowest common denominator, petrochemical derived, business first, really, category of products,
greatly put,
to a customer first, experience led, quality led category, and we think we can spearhead that.
So in terms of with the product being as great as it is, and obviously with the following being at the level that it is, you must be now very much above the radar. People will be seeing what you're doing. Does that worry you in terms of people imitating what you're doing?
I can't sit here and say either way whether they'll be successful or not, because I don't know anything about their business. We only know about our business. And I think keeping focused on our business, not being too flustered by newness that comes out and people spending. If people start to spend loads of money in subsequent years, okay, that's fine. We're going to focus on having a great core business ourselves. We're going to stay in our lane. We're going to be very healthily profitable. We're going to manage the business sensibly, and we think we're here for the long term.
One of the things that I love talking about is because I think it's very, very un-British thing to do. It's a bit more of an American thing to do, and that's celebrate your fuck-ups. Because in America, what I think is very exciting about entrepreneurship and how it's viewed is you embrace the mistakes. It's all part of the journey. Are there any kind of fuck-ups that you've experienced through this that you'd like to share, and kind of what it taught you about yourself and the kind of the journey of being an entrepreneur itself as well?
Yeah, there's one very clear event early in the business life where we were chasing growth and we didn't have the product to actually fulfill all the demand. So we started scrambling around, calling China, talking about, can we get air freighted pumps in, bottles? We were just scrambling. obviously everyone tells you yes, and you end up paying a small fortune to get stuff in, get it packaged, bottled and out. And then you start seeing the customer service emails trickling in going, the pump's broken, the bottle's leaking. It was then that I learned about the intricacies of pumps and compatibility mechanisms. So when you've got a inbox that's 5,000 emails full of people saying, my pump's broken and leaking, and you're going to have to send them out a new one.
Which is a big thing when this becomes the mainstay product in your house.
For, plus the shipping costs, plus the product costs, it's sort of £3 a customer. You're thinking, oh my God. So that was not a great moment. You do learn a lot from it. And actually, because it was a genuine mistake, error of judgment, you're apologetic to your customers and you treat them properly and you own up to it and say, yeah, that's our bad.
So am I right in thinking therefore for things as important as that, you stick to the suppliers that you know are going to make something?
You have a healthy respect for people that know what they're talking about with pumps and anything technical. And you try not to get too overexcited and try not to don't chase the vanity, as it were.
Yeah.
Be more sensible.
And let's just talk about this then. So glass bottle, therefore sustainability has been a big part of the business and therefore the thinking behind what you're achieving with this. Talk to us about the importance of sustainability and why it's been so in the mind to make sure you build a brand that's famous for its sustainability.
First and foremost, it's what's inside the bottle.
Yeah.
And making sure that what goes out into the world, into your sewage systems, into your bodies, we call it your 3 homes. It's your actual body, the home that you live in, and then the wider world.
Yeah.
And that you're doing as much as you can to ensure that you're putting good things out into the world, not bad things out into the world. In terms of recyclability, plastic and carbon, obviously being refillable has been a massive priority for us. And having containers for life as opposed to single plastic throwaway consumption. And that was a big motivation at the very beginning of the business and product development, that we're seeing all this stuff filling up in the bin, and it's not any bad, it's unpleasant. It's actually unpleasant to use.
We knew we wanted to make the brand best in class in those areas, but we didn't believe that customers really make en masse make choices around sustainability enough. And we wanted to put the actual what's inside the bottle, the experience of the product, our principles about cleaning, at the forefront of the brand. And I think that's really important with any brands chasing sustainability. If they really want adoption of those sustainable practices, you need to give customers other reasons to buy into the product.
Finally, coming back to the future of where this business is going, what excites you most about the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years ahead, whatever it is? What is it that, now you're at the point of where you are, really is causing that kind of excitement every day you come into work?
I'm really excited about the team and the way it's developed. And I think we've grown really quickly, but now it is really about making the brand and the business into a long-term business, real quality business. And getting our brand message out there, getting our philosophy out there into the public. Super excited about what's to come.
So it's the legacy, it's the fact you're disrupting a category, as you said earlier. Charlie, yourself?
I think the culture of the company is really, really exciting and fulfilling, and that's something we want to promote. We want to transform people's homes. So we're ambitious for what the brand can touch, the products that we can create, and how we can play a meaningful role in people's lives.
Guys, we are so excited about the fact that you are our number one. I think what's so exciting for us is the story behind this. It's a family business. It's a business that's doing good. It's a business that's being heavily disruptive in its category. All the things that, from our point of view, are so exciting about doing what we do, which is finding great businesses like yours. So to be able to, over the next 12 months, and hopefully beyond, well, I think it's going to be more than 12 months, isn't it, from what you're saying, to be able to celebrate you is going to be exciting. Hopefully come to Abbey Road 26th
Sure.
of September. We'll get you on stage. I hope that's cool.
Definitely.
For the big
Love
moment
that.
when we crown the number one. But listen, thank you so much for coming. Unbelievable what you're achieving. I wish you all the very best.
Don't go bust.
Yeah, don't go bust. Wish you all the very best for the weeks and the months and the years ahead with this unbelievable business that you're building.
Thank you, John. Thanks.
Cheers.